In today's video, we'll be looking at a very simple but very common mistake that we might do whenever we are using default values in a migration. Let me show you the problem and I'll show you the solution as well. I have a users table over here in the migration, and over here in the type, I have this default value on the type, which is normal. And if I show you over here, this is just a normal enum. And let me seed some data, PHP addition migrate phrase and seed. And if I just come here and refresh on the users table, then you can see here all the values are normal, everything is good. But let's say we are creating a new user from the admin section or any other place, then there can be some mistake. So let me show you that. So let me just create a new user like this. Name will be Laratips, email Laratips a tester test, password is a password, and I am saving it. And you can see here, I am not passing any type over here. If we don't pass anything, it will use the default value, which is normal. And let me run it, and you can see here, it is showing me true, which means that this is saved. And let me show you over here in the database, refresh it, and you can see here normal is being sent. Okay, there is no problem in this, but the problem happens when we pass this object to other functions and we perform some operations or just perform some operations over here. Let's say user and type. So we save the user with these things. Let me say Laratips 2 because the email is unique. Now, if I just do some operations by depending on this type, then we'll get null over here. We will not get the default value normal. On the database, it is saved as normal, but we will actually get normal here because we haven't actually passed it over here whenever we were saving. So let me create a new user and see what we get here in the type. So let me run it. Then you can see here we'll get null, but in the database as before we have normal. And let's say just below it or on the other functions where you have passed this object, you were checking if the type is normal and do something, then it will definitely won't work as expected. And obviously I'm here to tell you the solution. The first solution is just don't use the default values in the migration. Most of the time I don't use default values in the migration, and you can do that as well. But for example, you might have already used default values in your previous migrations. Then how to solve it? For that, we can define attributes property on the model itself. So let me go over here on the user model, and here I can just do here protected attributes and pass a default value to it. If it doesn't have any value, then it will actually show me this. I have added this and I have taken this from this documentation. You can see here, I'll leave the link of this documentation just below that like button. So after adding this, let me create Laratips 3, and I am not passing any type over here. And if I run, then I'm actually getting this enum. I'm getting this enum because here in the cast I have this also, but if I didn't have this cast, then I'll only get normal.